Hey everyone, Bernie Sanders endorsed Hilary Clinton, but there are a lot of Bernie Sanders people who are really pissed off. And they're pissed off because they saw Sanders as the leader of what would be a true economic revolution at a time when, because of depressed wages and adjusted for inflation, arguably reduction in wage growth, reduction in job opportunities that are well paid, thereby giving rise to the calls for pushing up the minimum wage, which is an artificial solution. It's something that, and I'm going on a digression here, it's something that causes businesses to pay more money, but no one asks the question, hey, can the business afford it? So those pressures and many others created an electorate that was hungry for Bernie Sanders. The problem for Sanders is this. As hungry as those folks say they are, a lot of them, the younger ones, they don't vote. And so there's this idea out there that Sanders launched or pointed a direction toward the future of the Democratic Party. But how can you honestly have a group of people that defines your future if they don't get involved when it matters the most? That's a big concern. When you see Sanders endorsing Clinton and the hoopla and the cheering and everyone's happy, it's easy to forget that there's another group in the United States, Democrats. On the one hand, then we have the Republicans, and we have the growing libertarian base and independents. We have those. It's easy to forget that they exist. It's easy to think, it's just the Democrats. And the problem, I believe, is that we as a Democratic Party, and I say this even as I'm giving rise, I'm really thinking hard about the Democratic Party bluntly because of the way that I've been treated this year. And the last time, and what happened for me is that for the first time, I'm not attending the Democratic Convention because even though I put in a press credential and I've attended 2008, 2012 and made a ton of content, this year they treated me like, and I'm going to curse, shit. Straight out shit, okay? So my point is that it can't all be me. There has to be a group of us that feels like the party isn't listening to them. And the people who aren't doing the listening are only concerned about what they get. The last time we were in that position was, for me, in California. I remember I went to a fundraiser for Kamala Harris, and I walked by John Burton, who was a legendary political figure, state senator. Never met the man before. I said, Senator, how are you? First words out of his mouth were these: fuck off. Now, that is a very risky thing to say to anybody. Depending on my temperament or mood, I could have went berserk. Instead, I just froze. I was shocked. I stopped. And I turned around and looked back at him and I thought, did he really say what I just thought he said? So you know what I did? I was a guest on a radio show and I said, I'm going to vote for Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I did. He was running for governor. I voted for him twice. He was Republican. And I did so because I felt the Democratic Party had become too big for its britches. And that there were a lot of John Burtons running around who felt so comfortable in their seat, so sure they were going to get elected, so absolutely certain they were going to get what they wanted, that how they treated someone else was not a concern. And we have people in the Democratic Party like that today. The sad news is that it's at a national level. It's not California. That's going to destroy us. I hope I'm wrong, but on these things, I generally am not. Now, as far as Sanders and Clinton, is Sanders the future, as I said? No, he's not. Because the base that supported him doesn't come out to vote. They're not ignited, energized. They don't feel that politics can do anything for them. They're vocal, but they don't go and vote in great numbers, because if they did, Bernie Sanders would have won California. He didn't. Donald Trump got more votes in total during the primaries than Bernie Sanders did. Think about that. Think about that. Okay. And so now that Sanders has went and supported Clinton, there's this void. And it presents a danger that Donald Trump could try to exploit. Watch what happens. If he's smart. I happen to think Donald is not as smart as he thinks he is. But back to my point. If something happens where this disaffected group looks for a home and Trump says the right thing, that would be disastrous. There is a perception among this same group that the Democratic Party is corrupt. Now, what I said to you a few moments ago regarding elements of the party who seem to be only concerned about what they want falls into their perception. So, folks, we have a problem here. And it's hard for me to crystal ball and see where this is going to take us. But is Sanders the leader of that revolution in the future? No. Who is? I don't know. At this point, I just don't know.